Every man who is accepted by the Navy is expected to bring with him the qualities which make a good blue jacket: courage, obedience, devotion to duty, ambition, and a sense of responsibility and leadership. Time and again, upon the initiative and intelligence of the individual blue jacket has depended the fate of a ship, the lives of shipmates, even the outcome of battle. All men in the Navy are required to wear the correct uniform. The naval uniform, with its various insignia and devices, is designed primarily to indicate on sight those belonging to the naval service, their rating, and the degree of their authority and responsibility. It should be a matter of pride with every blue jacket to be habitually, neatly and smartly dressed, and to see that his uniforms are scrupulously clean. Those who are properly and smartly dressed create a far better impression than those who are careless and slovenly. Bag inspection is held frequently to see that your clothes are clean, tidy, and properly marked, and that your clothing outfit is complete. To pass a good bag inspection is one of the first things a sailor must learn to do. You must bear in mind that your country is at war, and that your Navy must win that war. For what you have to learn, there is all too little time. Naval training is for the sole purpose of making you a useful man and a leader of men. In the Navy, your progress depends entirely upon you, the quality of your work, your study, and your effort. The hardest workers among you will become petty officers and chief petty officers, and men with exceptional qualifications may become warrant officers and commissioned officers. Accurate knowledge is necessary if you are to succeed in your work. Without accurate knowledge, you waste time and bungle the job. Nothing can be more dangerous than carelessness, for in battle there is no time to correct mistakes. A competent blue jacket learns all there is to know about his special duties, but he never forgets that first of all he is a fighting man whose military responsibility comes before everything else. Along with your first taste of salt water, you will get a graphic and simple illustration of the teamwork, which is the basic necessity of every fighting force. A coxswain or boat officer is in command. His authority is, for the moment, absolute. Unless his commands are promptly obeyed, the boat makes no headway. But when every man in the crew does what he is supposed to do, the boat surges ahead. The recruit in the Navy may find his first few weeks the hardest time of all. His only contact with the life he has left behind in this difficult time of change and adjustment is most probably by mail. The best cure for loneliness and even homesickness can be the letter to home and from home. To help the new sailor through the first period of confusion among strange surroundings, the Navy endeavors to make this new life lose some of its strangeness. Throughout all your naval career, you will constantly be meeting new faces and making new friends. They will judge you as you will judge them, by your loyalty to them as shipmates. They will judge you by your cheerfulness, your sportsmanship, and your honesty. Today, with so many new ships being commissioned, a recruit may leave the training station for sea duty a few weeks after entering the service. Aboard whatever ship he may be sent to, he will have the opportunity to make use of what he has already learned, and he will continue the process of learning by doing. From now on, the new sailor's home and school will be the sea. Since the days when the sailing ship gave way to the modern man of war, The Navy's need of specially trained and skilled men has been growing year by year. Until today, nearly every man in the service is a specialist in one field or another. Out of every class of recruits, there are some who, instead of going straight to sea, will first enter one of the Navy's service schools. These schools are designed to give such instruction to recruits as will make them more immediately useful at sea and give them the groundwork necessary for the lowest petty officer ratings. The Navy wants trained men. It wants to help those who want to get ahead, and it is always glad to give a higher rating and higher pay for men with special skills. To such men, the Navy offers a career in peacetime, as well as the opportunity to serve their country during war. To men who qualify, the Navy provides sound training in practically every trade. For those who study and work, there is always the opportunity to move up to higher grades, whether you go directly from the training station to service school or are sent to school after you've been at sea. You have been picked because your record has been good, and your petty officers believe you have definite aptitude for the work to be taken up. A great many of the men who have won success in the Navy owe it to the fact that they decided early in their careers in what work they wanted to specialize. Application and industry in any of the Navy's 60-odd fields of specialization cannot fail to win for the intelligent man early and rapid promotion to Chief Petty Officer and often beyond. Every development in the science of warfare opens up new ratings for Navy specialists. The emergence of air power as a necessary adjunct to sea power alone created the need for a whole new class of experts, the aviation specialist. Like the Navy's other service schools, its aviation training courses offer great and varied opportunities, both in peace and in war. The hallmark of a good blue jacket, whether he is rated or non-rated, is his military bearing and smartness. No matter what his length of service may be or what his rating is, every recruit, every enlisted man has certain duties of a military nature quite apart from his special and technical duties. You may sometimes wonder why it is necessary to spend time on drilling. The answer is discipline. In the Navy, discipline is necessary for success in battle, and the only object of the Navy is to win battles.
What do you think about when you're going to sea for the first time? Your girl back home? Your last liberty? Or just how scared you are? That's what makes my nerves jump as that tin can comes closer. I'm not ready for sea. I'm not ready at all. It was just a few months ago I was really raw stuff as far as the Navy was concerned. The other boots went right into the station. But I had to hang back and admire myself in civvies for the last time. A bus took us to the recruit center. When we got out of the bus, an officer looked us over and shuddered. We shuddered right back. Then he ordered us right to the water. Not very salty, but we weren't either at that point. Before everything else, we went through a physical. The medics listened to what made us tick. Then, ouch! They attacked us from both sides. In the Navy, you have to use your head, and they don't want any hair to get in the way. What happened? Next, it was time to start looking like a sailor. Uniforms. Everything from shoes up. I watched Shorty try to convince the storekeeper he was big enough for that jumper. He wasn't. Well, we had $250 worth of uniforms. Hold on there, Shorty. And that meant it was time to pack our civvies. My feet sure hated to see those white shoes go. At the end of that first day, we met our chief. He looked tough, but what he had to say sounded plenty okay. It all added up to hit the sack. Before taps, we compared our sore arms. We felt shot all over. Shorty said the needle that hit him was that long. Reveille already? In the Navy, that means rise and shine. Morning chow, fuel for the training ahead. Shorty was worried about the grind ahead, but not too worried to eat everything in sight. Not bad. Then the training began. Marching. Or maybe I should say, trying to march. Watching the advanced recruits really march, and then trying again. Finally, we stacked our pieces. Formed up, and headed for the barracks to get ready for inspection. That meant rolling and stopping all our whites. I have to admit, I was a little nervous on that first inspection. Oh. The time had come to be classified. And that meant a visit to the classification office. This is where you decide what your future will be in the Navy. I talked it over with the chief, and he explained to me the many trades I could learn. They looked good enough to me, but the chief wanted to know still more about me. What sport did I like? I told him, it's too bad they don't have a rate. Fastball pitcher, first class. The next day, we were standing in line as usual. But for once, nobody was griping. That table was a rainbow, and the lieutenant held a pot. In boot camp, you don't get a chance to spend your pay exactly as you might want. For instance, the Navy gave us liberty to visit the zoo. I'll admit I've spent money on beasts before, but these were real animals. These seals ought to be on television, or maybe they already are. Sunday, a day of rest and religion. It was also our first visitor's day, and we all got a whiff of heaven. Perfume. Patty thought I looked pretty sharp in my uniform. I kept my hat on so she couldn't see the haircut. On to another week. Drill. Drill. We haven't yet got hep to the Navy polka. We soon learned you spend most of your days in boot camp hanging around a bar. Of soap, that is. The Navy's first rule: cleanliness, inside and out. Shorty and me scrubbed those whites until they were stiff. Oh, yeah, another little chore. Undressing spuds. What? More good news? Oh, well. Irish ammunition. They gave us time off from work to knock each other around. Bingo. Or to knock a baseball around, depending on your preference. I still think he was out. Shorty said he could roll a strike every time. He was wrong by 2 pins. He got a little sore when I laughed at him. Then we both laughed. The next day we went out for rifle practice. I used to do quite a bit of hunting back home in New Mexico. Wasn't too bad either. But I soon found out they have a few guns bigger than my .22. Shorty thought he was hot stuff in these twin 40s. Here's looking at you. There was plenty more thrown at us as they tried to show us what makes a sailor. We learned how to handle line and how to lower whale boats without wrecking the boat. And everything about a whaleboat in the water. The difference between fore and aft. And the difference between how not to row and how to row. Then there was the USS Recruit, our first ship, guaranteed not to sink. It was made of wood and anchored to the ground. We felt like real signalmen when we two-blocked those flags. We tried to flash the blinker. I guess the Navy thought we looked more like volunteer firemen. Here we are, back in the bleachers, learning how to man the hoses. Man, oh man, the heat is on. I now know it's true. You never forget your first flame. But we finally doused it. At last, a real liberty. Hollywood. Glamour street of stars. I looked all over for Lana Turner or Betty Grable, but the only part of them in sight was in cement. Back to work as we neared the end of our training. We had finally learned the Navy polka. The chaplain told us what the Navy expects of its sailors once they leave boot camp. This really sank in. Then it was time for us to get together and pick an honor man. I thought Shorty should get the award. But when we lined up and the hands were counted, I was surprised to find they had picked me. It was quite a thrill getting a skipper's commendation. And it was an even greater thrill to stand on the reviewing stand and watch my mates march by. My company was stepping high today. And I was proud of my mates in 689 when they were presented with the Honor Company Award before the regimental review started. I think our chief felt pretty good, too. And all of us on the reviewing stand, from 4 stripers to seaman stripers, felt good when we watched them march. These were my shipmates. Together, we had worked and learned. Together, we are Navy. The best trained, the best dressed, the best paid fighting men in the world. I guess that day changed me from a boot to a sailor. So what have I got to be worried about? Bring on that tin can. I realize now, this sailor is ready for sea.
I'm Recruit Dave Johnson, and this is one of the most unusual days of my life.
Forward! March!
I can't describe my feelings exactly. Usually I tear into those ham and eggs, but today my stomach feels tense. It's a new kind of tension for me. How can I explain it? I had that fellow's duty during my service week. So let's see, he's in training about 5 weeks behind me. Those guys have just got their full clothing issue. That would make them 4 weeks behind me. Funny, everything I've been through so far, some other recruit will be going through for the first time today. Some civilians are probably just arriving at the airport. The whole thing ahead of them. You know, it's all happening for somebody. The whole 9 weeks of boot camp, right here today.
Remember, do not leave that area at any time. Do not harass any civilian dudes. Do not fight or argue amongst yourselves. Do not whistle or make catcalls at any ladies that might pass by. Keep in mind at all times, even though you are not in uniform, you are members of the armed forces, subject to these rules and regulations. Are there any questions? You all understand? Group leader, take charge of your men and go out that door and turn left.
Men, at this time, file out, go to the telephone booth, make a telephone call home to your parents. No matter what time it is in your locality, I want you to call and tell your folks that you have arrived safely.
Go left. Move down there. Move down there. Clear it out. Right close in front of the sheriff. Thank you, sir. Huh? What part of Texas are you from?
That did it.
Here, give me your card. Size shoes do you usually wear?
9.
Okay. Put your foot in there. How's that feel?
A little small.
Okay, take it off. Okay, put your foot in there. That feel a little better?
Yes,
Okay, take it off.
Any of you people who cannot pass the swim test will be giving expert instruction. We got the best swimming instructors in the world here, so you don't have to worry about drowning.
I call your name out, you will answer up, so I know you're out here. You'll answer up loud and clear. Is that understood? Yes, sir. Bode, Rollins, 10. Boyger, Thomas, 11. Braley, Randall, 12. Brower, Ray, 13. Brown, Con, 14. Browning, Ray, 15. Duhane, Carlos, 16.
Today, some of the new recruits will have finished the check-in routine, and their company will be formally commissioned.
I'm going to give you a company number that will be your identification while you're in recruit training. Everybody will recognize you by that flag, by that company flag. Be proud of it. Company 114, your company commander is a petty officer first class who has already had 5 previous companies. Pay attention to this man, and I'm sure your company will be a fine company upon graduation. Mr. Stefford, do you accept this company for training purposes?
For the first time, they'll meet their company commander, a man with special training for this duty.
Posted colors for company 114.
All right, 4th man, step out. You're going to take these men back to barracks. Move up to center. Cut. Forward. March.
All right, lay them out flat. Fly to the right. Maintain the dress edge to your right. Fold them in equal halves. Taking your time working those wrinkles out. Get them even. Maintain that dress edge. Do not worry about the left side because that's called the garbage. You're racked in there 4 to 6 deep, stacked up one on top of the other. And you got a guy in there as a scrounge. He's going to really mess up for the rest of the guys. So consequently, the Navy highly stresses personal hygiene.
First, get your blood drawn in this line right here. Then, step in that line and get your tuberculin skin test. Do not get in this line, your blood drawn line. Get in this line first, and then your skin test second. If you do not, we're going to take your blood again. And you're going to have to get a skin test again. So get your blood drawn first, and then step into that line and get your tuberculin skin test.
An MOD on number 4. Open, please. A DO on number 5.
Let's hit the last response.
That first group dynamic session is a surprise. Somebody actually listens to your gripes. And it helps to find out that everybody feels just about as bewildered as you do.
I'm proud of myself because, you're able to get through the day, and then at the end of the night you say, wow, I chalked off another day and I made, I'm still alive.
They try to keep us too busy to really think about home and get homesick around here. About the only free time you have is before you go to sleep at night.
Back then, I used to wonder if I could keep up the pace and make it through. I had doubts about myself, I guess. But somehow, the system itself seemed to keep me from backing down. The routine just carried me along step by step. Those new recruits out there today, getting physical training, learning the value of aerobics, they probably don't realize yet what it's going to do for them.
All right, let's move it. Go, 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 go. Don't trip. Clear it, clear it. Get up there. If you drop off, you know what's going to happen. That's it. Now you're using your feet. That's it. Don't try and straighten your arms. Get over there. Come on, old lady. Move it hard.
You learned all the moves, so you want to go fast. Come here, Pete. Right shoulder. Arms. What is this? Down your push-up position. Down on my command. Down. Honey, port. Arms. Up.
You can carry him down any passageway this way, 4 men, 2 men. If he's in a shock position or a chest injury, you can tip him up on his side. If you want to treat him for shock, fine. Lay him down. Or you can even go the other way. Tip him over.
How about you, Jones? 8 o'clock in the morning. What time is that Navy time?
0800, sir.
0800? Okay, now you got 8 o'clock in the evening. What time is that Navy time?
2000, sir.
And in order to do that, we use this equipment here, which is, what do we call that?
That's a span guy.
Outstanding. Span guy, or another name is strong back.
Ready, front, ground, arms, ready. All right, people. That's what we're training you. That's where you gotta listen all the time. And meet every checkpoint, exactly. Any questions on that?
No, sir!
When I say something again, I'm not gonna tell you twice. You got 3-1 day coming up, you better get it together.
Right, hey. Up, out, hey. Left, hey. Your left face right.
Your watch cap is right. There, cut. Now, you know that ain't right. That thing's supposed to be laying right up there. Laying right up on point. If you've got it twisted, it's supposed to be laid out flat. Now, you refold that and get it right.
Yes, sir.
Next man. All right.
That's another thing they do. Yes, the man asked the question, do they hold inspections in various departments? For cleanliness, make sure your berthing spaces are in order. You bet, that's part of their job. Good question, my friend. Pardon?
The upper right-hand corner, you have the Social Security number section. You'll see where it says CO.
Occasionally, a recruit gets set back a week or so, but most sail right on.
Crew, come down here.
Men waiting for their classification interviews today will be worrying about all the scuttlebutt. In other words, all the false rumors they've heard. Till they go in and learn that the Navy does live up to its recruitment contracts.
Now, did your recruiter guarantee you anything when you came in?
Yes, sir. He guaranteed me a Class A school in structural mechanics, aviation.
Okay, right. Okay, now you're fully qualified.
Got that check?
All right, you've got that. Your scores are high enough for that, so you absolutely will go to that school.
I'll get it.
Right, Memphis, Tennessee. You get 2 weeks of leave after boot camp, then on to your Class A school. Okay?
Fine.
About the time the drills get sharper, a guy begins to get a feeling about his company, a sense of teamwork. You want your outfit to be the best. You can tell the difference in the 3rd or 4th group dynamics session.
Really hard. Like everyone, everyone's in it. Like we're all in this together. When you go through something hard, it brings you together. Like you depend on each other and you help each other out.
Before you criticize somebody else, take a good look at what you're doing.
Fall out.
A lot that didn't make sense at first begins to fall into line. If you've ever tried to get a whole family ready to go someplace at the same time, you know how it is. Somebody's never ready or can't find his other shoe. Well, many times a day, a company commander has only minutes to get some 70 men to the right place at the right time with the right equipment. With the Navy's kind of order and discipline, he can do it. We all make it, almost every time. We may gripe, but the system works.
Hurry up, let's go. Fall in.
I suppose if you ask some of us what we like best in boot camp, we'd say the weekends.
How old are they? Oh, the 8-year-old really loves you.
The chaplains are always available to us, but most of us are content to see them just on Sunday.
All right, we got mess cook assignments, people, coming up next week. I want to give you guys your assignments. You're going to be in different galleys. Got to have people in charge. Apodaca, you're going to be in charge of the group that goes to Galley 8.
Put your hand on the canisters. Breathe in.
If you get a good tight fit, you know it's fit your face properly, and it's going to give you confidence in that mask, that it's not going to leak or let you down. Now let's put it on.
Your fifth general order, people. You want to quit your post? All right, very slowly and carefully now. Slow, no pushing. Single file out that door right there.
Take that plastic bag on and put them on. Put a cuff in each trouser leg.
I really felt I was getting there when they issued the full uniform.
Get with it.
Today I put mine on with extra special care. This is one inspection I'm going to pass with flying colors. Thinking back, the week that made me feel I was finally arriving was Fleet Week. And the most fun was the final sports weekend. The competition between the companies was terrific. It was a great time. But the day that really has me stirred up is today. Because, man, this is it for me. Graduation day.
Hey, I'm going to go down to the zoo, man.
You guys got overnight?
What are you going to the zoo for?
Hey, the zoo, have you seen it?
No.
This place is big.
My parents and even my girlfriend, along with many others, have come up here for the big ceremony. The tension's been building up in me all day. Now, at last...
Company, at ease. Okay, men. This is what we've worked for 9 weeks. Graduation day. You guys know the hard, back-breaking work we put in for this day. Your families, your wives, your girlfriends are going to be out there. Let's make it the best one of all, huh?
Some of the guys will be going on to A schools. Some will stay here for apprentice training. Anyway, we're Navy men now.
Hey, here it is.
Oh, it's been so long. You're wonderful.
Hey, how you doing? Pretty good, sir. Sir? Did you hear him say sir? He hasn't called me sir all his life. Good to see you. You remember that?
Now I know what it is I've been trying to say. Boot camp showed me that any man who tries can measure up and gain a new awareness of his own ability. It's a feeling of accomplishment.
And adventurous men from each of the 13 colonies. Today, the United States Navy draws its men from every state in the Union. An average of 200 recruits report each day to the Naval Training Center, San Diego, California.
I'd heard a lot of stories about boot camp, and now I was going to find out for myself. It didn't take long. We got our uniforms right away. If you're a human being, they can fit you. Well, maybe not on the first try. The shots came so fast we didn't have time to say ouch.
I'm Mr. Vincent, Master Chief Machinist Mate. On behalf of the Commanding Officer of Recruit Training Command, Captain Lockwood, I want to welcome you aboard. For about a half an hour, I'll be talking to you about different things that's going to happen to you during the next few weeks and the next few months you're here.
Then we got down to the business of learning how to become Navy men. Of course, the Navy wanted to find out about us, too.
You men are here today to take a series of tests known as the U.S. Navy Basic Test Battery. These tests are the most important tests that you will take while in recruit training. The results of these tests will determine what kind of training you will receive and to what degree. Writing hands in the air. Get them up there. Turn the page and begin.
The instructor said these classification tests would determine what kind of training and job we'd get after boot camp. I did the best I could and found out later I'd made a good score. During the next few weeks, the time went by so fast it's hard to remember all the things we did. I know we sure learned how to march. I got to know my rifle real well. Steady, squeeze, bullseye. We learned how to fight disaster and escape it.
Good afternoon, men. My name is Campbell, Chief Electrician's Mate. This afternoon, you've got two of your more important classes that you'll get here in RTC. This is sound-powered
We learn something every day.
People, when you get out to sea, are going to be using the sound-powered telephone.
The Navy has a lot of jobs, and I began wondering what I'd be doing after boot camp. I remember my classification interview. Because I'd made a good score on my tests and was doing well in boot training, The chief said a lot of jobs were open to me. Radio, electronics, radar, missiles, and fire control. I found out that fire control meant controlling missiles and guns, not putting out fires. He said I could probably go to a school before I went on a ship. The chief asked about my jobs and hobbies and all before I came in the Navy, and he explained the different rates and what they did aboard ship. I asked a lot of questions. I figured the best thing was to get as much technical schooling as I could. The big day. We graduated from boot camp. Our company won the Brigade Award. We got our orders. 2 weeks leave and then report for duty. Some of my buddies were going right to ships, some to school. I got just what I wanted. Fire Control Technician A School.